Alrighty, hello everyone. Welcome to my second stream. And following some good advice from our friend James Cork last week, I thought it'd be fun to bring someone on board. So please say hello to Mad Munchkin.
Sup, people.
Oh, such enthusiasm.
It's like 20 past 1 in the morning for me.
It is. Maddie has been
yeah.
kind enough to do this from half a world away.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, Maddie. I greatly appreciate it.
No, thank you for asking me. I'm happy to be here.
Excellent, excellent. So, for those who might have, first off, are you able to see the chat?
Yes.
Oh, marvelous. So can I.
I've,
In an improvement over last week, I'm slowly learning from my mistakes, though we still suffered a slightly later start. As I tried to make sense of it all. Tried to make sense of this.
Where's the fun in making sense?
Indeed. Get our inner Discord up.
Yes. So do you want me to read out questions to you from the chat if I can? Or how do you want to do this?
Well, I guess first, for anyone who didn't catch last week or doesn't know, I'm making an effort to show work as I fulfill Patreon reward tiers, including pose sets for OCs. And so that's time I'm making every week to try and honor those commitments and take myself out of a backlog. And having things are more fun with a friend. So thanks to Clay Pigeon, who's wishing us a good day to us both, or like we say, Maddie, it's more of a good evening. So
it's like the Truman Show. In case I don't see it, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, depending on what time zone you're in.
Exactly right. Curse you, curved globe. You make this.
I know, right? The flat earthers have the right idea.
Right idea, wrong execution.
Precisely.
So, I saw that one person in the chat asked about, how do you edit your post sets? Well, mostly it's just a building block. Let's see here. And I shouldn't consign everyone to this white void. But here we are. Neutral. Case in point. You just have a neutral pose.
Jeez. That's a lot.
It is.
How many layers is that?
271. You could hear the. She's like, why?
That was a why.
So here's the thing. Everyone has their own style of doing things. I like to have a complete pose on a layer, and because this is all vector based, I can just move stuff around. And it's like building blocks. So, so basically, each layer is just a different. Oh, neutral copy too. No, don't need you. Let's say a character is starstruck. Or maybe they're talking to people. Hello. And then as we go on, in between streams, I have added wings to the pose sets. Or pointing out.
Oh, we have a Sweetie Bloom has joined us.
Hi, Sweetie Bloom. Marvelous.
Frostbite. Why does he even have that layer?
You should wonder, why do I even have that button?
Change the layer, Silver. Wrong layer. Why do you even have that layer?
So,
we've got Jasper Pie as well.
Oh, hail to the pizza pony.
Yes.
So this is all pointing, and then there's wings and pointing. See, I'm covering all the bases. So yes, right now, with the deletion of some extra layers, I still have 269. But you break it up into folders, it becomes much more manageable.
Yeah.
So anywho.
Well, like you say, everyone has their own system, their own style, and I'm staring at that and I can't process it. But if you can, then Awesome.
Few things in life
If
are.
this works for you, good.
It's processable. So the happy news is that
Mm.
the 3/4 turn is, well, sometimes there seems like hardly a difference. Oh, I'm so mad to be pointing. So the nice thing is that the 3/4 turn is basically done.
Mm.
Usually, just to show folks what I usually do, we're now going to update his portrait view, where he's looking right at the viewer. So all I do, I'm going to switch to wireframe view. All these are just mathematical equations representing shapes. And if you change the math, you change the shape. So, using this as a base, I'm going to copy it, and we're just going to have him talking. So we name this portrait a talk. This is just an example, however. Now I'm just going to change the shape of his mouth and change the shape of the stroke to a nice uniform. Maybe take a little bit this anchor point I raise up. And again, it's just changing the maths. The magics.
You make it look so easy.
Well, part bitter experience and learning.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's one other thing I do. Right now, this is all one group, so it's like treating a collection as one item. If I double click on it, now I can move the individual pieces. And I can add a mouth. Because that would be, I have no mouth, but I must scream.
Mm.
So Maddie, how have you been doing, especially as we're all facing this lockdown? Ooh,
Where should I start?
That sigh says it all.
We've been on lockdown for about maybe 5 weeks, and it's just been extended another 3, and it's probably going to be extended beyond that. Not being able to go out is very frustrating, but we're kind of lucky. We grow our own vegetables, and we have a convenience store right next door. If we're really stuck for supplies, they're well stocked, so we're fine with that. And we have a larger supermarket just 20-minute walk away, or a 5-minute drive, whatever. So cabin fever set in for a while, but then I'm reminding myself I didn't really go out all that much before anyway, because I'm a total introvert, and so other than the fact just knowing that you can't go and see your friends whenever you want, or go and visit family, whatever, it's frustrating, but it's like I'm reminding myself there's like we're being told to do is stay home, and that's all it is. But I'm just kind of making sure that the more vulnerable people are, getting the help they require, because I have 2 sisters, one blood sister and one adopted sister. My adopted sister is registered blind, so she's finding things rather difficult right now, but it's just making sure that she's safe and happy and getting the supplies she needs when she needs it, so which she is. So yeah, not really. I'm concerned and a little bit stressed, but honestly I'm just kind of taking each day as it comes, because that's all I can do. If people are wondering why I'm being quiet, it's because it's 1:30 in the morning and I don't want to disturb anyone else in my house. Yeah.
I'm trying not to shout at the top of my lungs, hello, Maddie's family!
Well, they only just went to bed about half an hour ago, so they're probably still awake. Oh. I'm usually up until 3 or 4 in the morning anyway, so.
I feel a little less guilty about making you stay up this late.
Oh no! Don't feel guilty. I'm just delighted you asked me to join.
And now I think I've actually come up with a new pose name for this. Let's say,
Mm-hmm.
instead of angry talk, this is wicked talk. He's being very wicked.
Wicked top. Mm. How are you coping with the current situation, Silver-Quill?
There is no silver
Are you
quill.
are you scratching the walls yet?
There's no silver quill. There's only madness.
Mm. That I'll be in charge of the madness. Thank you. It's in my name, so
Well, for me,
quiet madness.
well, for me, I am going a little bonkers. I too am introverted. I usually do spend time indoors, but it's time when I choose, not when it's assigned. It's funny how
Mm.
just awareness of the choice does so much for people's perspective and behavior. And so I miss my friends. My Zoom calls I've been a part of. I call with my family, I call with friends, I'm on Discord, I'm on Skype. If anything, I'm actually more in contact with people than I was, which is a funny thing for me.
Mm.
Quite peculiar of me. Yes, quite. But
Mm.
I still go to work. I have a remote connection, which is maddening. Again, sorry, I'm gonna steal your name some more because.
That is patented. That is our word.
But
Anyway.
here's the thing. I do graphics work during the day. Not, nothing
Mm-hmm.
like this. But what happens is my laptop communicates through the internet to my work computer, and it's like using a remote control. But there is a 5 to 10 second delay between typing a command and seeing its execution.
Mm.
And I can type out a message, go grab a drink of water, and when I come back, the message is still appearing on the screen. And I can still see all my spelling errors. Dang it! So, but we're all coping as best we can.
Yeah, this is it. I've just been binge watching stuff on Disney Plus. Uh, it's funny that Disney Plus was released here anyway, just when the lockdown here happened. So, been binge watching a lot of documentaries on there. And last night I watched a film I haven't seen since I was a little kid. Return to Oz. You
Wait,
remember that film?
wait, isn't that really scary one with the deadly desert and the rock golems?
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
god, Maddie, you like the scary stuff.
Yeah, Nightmare Fuel. That film is crazy.
Although,
I'm just watching it and I'm like, so this witch Mambi has like a hallway that's like an art gallery, and she has like an assortment of other women's heads, and she switches out a head depending on what mood she's in, and and it's all heads that she's stolen from other pretty women. I'm like, this is a kids movie. I'm like, how how did this get made?
well, you know that saying, I need to go put my face on? She just took that literally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Although, honestly, remembering that, I can never look at Futurama the same way.
Why is that?
All their guest stars, all the celebrity appearances they had, because it was the future, all their
Oh yeah,
all their
yeah. Now I remember.
In fact, I was just last weekend. I watched SF Debris reviewing a Futurama episode that featured most of the cast of the original Star Trek, which was
I remember that episode. Yeah.
which having lost Leonard Nimoy recently. Well, it feels recently. Uh,
Feels recently, yeah.
Honestly, every feeling is very subjective right now in terms of time, because
Yeah.
it for me, I've been in sequestered for like little over a month, and I feel like the weekend before I'd had breakfast with my family and cousins. That feels like an eternity ago.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating. Uh, but that's why getting to commit to creativity helps. It helps focus. I know that this might not be the most thrilling graphic design right here, but even this just helps recharge the batteries.
Yeah.
So, I think we should open the floor to people's questions. And
Mm-hmm.
one such question I saw earlier was for you. What did you think of the
Oh.
My Little Pony series finale?
I'm hoping to one day make a video on it. It really struck a nerve for me, not just because it was the end of the series, but because it was about Twilight's moving away, and she's like she feels like none of her friends seem to care that she's leaving, and this was around the time just after I got engaged, and then it's like, well, looks like I'm moving to America, so we're in the process of that at the moment. Can't go into details about it in a live stream, obviously, but yeah, I'm watching this episode. I watched it actually while I was actually at UK PonyCon last year. It was around October when I watched it in a hotel room, the worst hotel room I've ever stayed in, by the way, with a friend of mine who also is my assistant when I go to cons. She wasn't with me for the American ones, but yeah, anyway, we're watching it, and it's like I could feel myself trying not to cry because of the situation that she was in, saying that she's leaving, and I'm like, that's going to be me soon. I'm going to be leaving. Will any of my friends care? So I'm like, I really want to convey my opinions on this episode, but it hit home so hard. It's like taking me a while to kind of get to the correct mind space in order to put my thoughts on the actual episode down in a script without just getting overly emotional. And then on top of that, it's the final episode of a show that has just, well, in my experience anyway, has literally changed every single avenue of my life, my career, my personal life, and now it's like it's the vehicle for that's allowed me to kind of expand a lot further in my career and in my personal life further than I ever thought. So one day I will make a video about it to explain my thoughts further. Just yeah, I'm at the moment one of the projects I'm working on right now, which should be finished in a few days, is because I've sent you scripts for it, a review for the My Little Pony movie that was released in 2017, and I've put that off for very similar reasons. So, in fact, I poke fun at myself in the video for not making it for 3 years, so hopefully it won't be 3 years down the line before I talk about the MLP Season 9 finale, but we'll see.
What do you think of the pose of this confused talking mouth? Little,
He looks like he's chewing a sour candy.
well, madness can be a bitter
It's
pill.
cute.
Maybe just a
Yeah.
little lower. I don't want it to make it look like half his face is melting. Get some two fates.
It's a good expression. I like the expression.
Thank you. I have a little cheat sheet of what needs to be there. Like, what's the base? I'll have to add Wicked into that lineup because we're all a little wicked
Yeah,
sometimes, especially a
absolutely.
certain pink alicorn who's the best at everything.
Are you really trying to tempt fate with that? Trying to get me to do the Mary Sue voice when it's like 1:45 in the morning for me and I can't do the Mary Sue voice quietly?
Hi,
That would be a good
Silver-Quill. Nice to
challenge,
meet you.
though. Mm.
But no, I just like that the rivalry endures no matter what. I don't think I've ever
Make
had a.
people in the chat. Sorry, what?
No,
Say that again, sorry.
oh, I was just saying. I love that I actually have a rivalry with the fictional character.
Yeah. There's a good joke in the. I don't want to ruin the video, but there's a joke in it where Maddie starts talking about hippogriffs, and Mary just. I'm just gonna do the voice. Every time Maddie says the word hippogriff, Mary says, "Glorified pigeon!" And Maddie's like, "Excuse you." And Mary says, "Sorry, it's an involuntary callback reflex."
Hey, that was a pretty good quiet. Quiet Mary.
Yeah. A quiet Mary doesn't quite sound like Mary, but I tried.
Oh, come on. She's the best at being quiet. I wish she'd practice it more
The best
often.
at being quiet. I should practice this more often.
Yeah.
'Cause then that's a step away from menacing Mary. Like, I'll get you with a broom. And your little dog, too.
Oh.
Yeah. Trying to catch up with the questions in the chat, but they're coming in so fast.
Are you able to scroll? Because I'm having difficulty with that.
You can't scroll on the Restream chat, but you can scroll in the YouTube chat. And what I've been doing in my live streams when I stream, if people want to ask a question, they'll just type the @Mad Munchkin thing, and then it's highlighted in red. The problem with that is a lot of people use that, and then everything is highlighted in red. So
So even
that's
if I'm
frustrating. But
not angry, I'll be seeing red.
your name will be highlighted in red.
Alright, well,
I can scroll up the chat for you so you can carry on working.
although
Trying to find good questions.
I don't want to neglect folks who might be watching us on Twitch as well, which is much appreciated. So tell you keep an eye on the YouTubes, and I will see if I can do something on the Twitch. Twitch.
Well, you should be getting all of the chats that are coming through on your Twitch on your Restream tab. They should all be coming through on there.
I am, but like I say, like you say, they scroll very fast, and so I worry I'm missing. Like, oh well, there's Luigi Man 87. Hello.
Ah, there we go. Yeah.
Okay, so I just got a. Oh, wow. And Chris Blessings is talking to us from Norway. That always blows my mind that someone on the other side of the world. I'm talking to someone in another country.
Mm-hmm.
Another person in an entirely different country is watching. I'm just from an age where straddling the divide. I remember life before the internet.
So do I.
And so all this is a little new. And for other people, it is as natural as breathing.
Yeah. So I'm only a few years younger than you. So.
A few, she says. You whippersnapper.
A few. Just a few.
Me. At least you're not like one friend who has been 29 for about a decade. She's going to kill me if she hears that. So now.
Oh, apparently my voice is a lot louder than yours.
It is? Well, let me
apparently.
See. Okay, I'll reduce the input. How about now? Say a little something.
Okay. Is that any better, guys? Let us know. I'm trying to find good questions. Ah, chat keeps jumping.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, but oh, sorry, what?
Nothing. Just I think.
I found a good question.
Yes, what's up?
It's actually from Buck N5, and they're asking. They're basically asking you what you thought the first time you saw your super form in the TF2 series.
Well, I'm the one. I made my super form. I'm the one who drew it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So in some ways, I saw it as it came to being. It was my precious little creation. But I laughed with the transformation, which was done by, I think, Lightning Bliss. And
yeah,
I hope it was fun for her to put together because she did a great job. And I thought it was a pretty hilarious transformation scene. And the sound effects, which I think was Jasper Pye's work, uh, he sold it.
Yeah.
Although
The audio in the TF2 series that Saspio and Jasper Pye work on is amazing. Always blows my mind every time. Don't know how they do it.
And the little squishy sound effect as I changed was just perfect. Though I will take credit as that was my own scream as I transformed. So I really knew what it was like to be a pony after that because I was a little hoarse.
Ah, he's a funny guy.
I try to be Oh,
Ah.
Olivia's saying they can hardly hear me, so maybe I should actually boost my own audio. Okay.
Yeah, maybe do that.
Okay, I am now at full audio power. I don't know if I sound stronger. This is all a learning curve.
Oh yeah, for sure. I usually find when I'm doing streaming, I have to adjust my audio a little bit as well, almost every time. So, there's another question about TF2, but I'm trying to find one that's about something else.
Yes, I'm afraid, though we take part in TF2, we don't have a lot of creative control, so we don't know what's coming down the pipe.
We voice our characters and have some input in other avenues, but it's not our project, so it's like we can't really talk about it much because we just do voices for our characters. Yeah.
Quick shout out to John M. Matthews over on Twitch, who's struggling with a keyboard. I don't know if I did see your image of a show accurate Silver-Quill. I'm assuming I look like the hippogriffs of Mount Aerith. Or is it Aerith?
Glorified pigeon.
I'm having Final Fantasy flashbacks. Is it Aerith or Aerith? They keep make a decision.
It's Eris.
Would you mind shooting a link in the chat, John? So I can say with honesty. Oh, and SpriteMon98 rightly pointing out that the voice actor for the soldier passed away this week.
Yeah, rest in peace. Myself and Jasper Pye, well, Jasper Pye made it, but posted an image of Maddie and Jasper Pye giving him a salute. Yeah.
Yes. Best soldier giving a salute to the best soldier, and Jasper's there too. Sorry, Jasper.
Speaking of Jasper, Jasper is asking, have you welcomed our Lord and Saviors Sam and Max into your life?
Funny. Actually, weirdly enough, I was, this is tangential, but earlier this week I was watching some retrospective videos on Star Wars Dark Forces and the Sam and Max Easter egg they threw in there. And I was like, oh yeah. And that made me think of the Fox Kids show of Sam and Max.
That's the one I remember.
Someone asked earlier, how would I fill the void left by My Little Pony? And it's like, there's still entertainment to be found. I was behind in the Venture Brothers, and I caught up this week. Which is...
I haven't seen that.
It's a fun one. It's simultaneously very light and absurdist and incredibly violent. It's also very adult. They've, I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's still on Adult Swim, but they now suddenly can have uncensored nudity.
Oh.
And usually it's on guys, so I'm like, well, that's a thing now.
Well then.
Okay. It's like
Master code. Oh, sorry.
It's like, do you really have to have that close-up shot? Thank you. Bye.
Hmm. Master Code is asking, who is more good looking, Master Code or Master Code?
Well, I think Master Code has a slight advantage over Master Code because the Master Code has a somewhat punchable face at times. But Master Code does not suffer this problem, so I think Master Code is in good waters. But he should watch his back, because I think Master Code is very jealous of Master Code, and will, of course, seek retribution.
That's a good answer. Oh, wow. Guys in the chat, if you have more questions, I'm going to try my best to answer them, or we're going to pick ones that I think would be interesting.
Whoops. Oh, no, I done goofed. I changed the sad expression without making it sound. So this is where holding down undo.
Control Z! Control Z!
Again, I just wish, I wish I could
Untitled.
Untitled?
Someone called Untitled in the chat. They're asking, have you seen DuckTales 2017? And what are your thoughts? Oh, that's about MLP finale, which we've already answered. But yeah, have you seen DuckTales 2017?
I have. I've seen the first full season. I've seen only half of the second season. Again, I need to catch up. And I'm still enjoying it immensely. How about yourself?
I think I've caught up as much as I can. I know season 3 is coming out soon, or is it 4? I don't know. Problem is, some shows are, you guys will be like a season ahead of the UK, or you might like the official airs, or if it's on Disney Plus, which it's only got one season of on Disney Plus, so I'll have to watch it elsewhere. I'm enjoying it. I do miss how the original DuckTales, which I grew up with, was much more episodic. It was much more, you could just leap in at any point and just watch an episode. Whereas with the new one, you can't do that. You kind of have to watch it from the beginning for most episodes. There's not an awful lot of filler episodes. So in that regard, I'm like, it's not a bad thing, but it's just, for me, it's a little bit problematic purely because I'm so used to the original being just every episode was a standalone story in of itself, whereas this one it's like season long. So yeah, well, there's some episodes that are obviously exempt from that rule, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. I love David Tennant's Scrooge. I love him as Scrooge. Yeah.
I love.
There's a lot of I'm not a Whovian, but there's a lot of Doctor Who jokes in there, so which is good.
I freely profess to being a David Tennant fanboy. So he's my favorite Doctor, and I've loved him in just about every role I've seen him in. Though Jessica Jones, seeing him playing the Purple Man, and just how at ease he is with being this horrible monster of a person. Like, wow, there's a side I don't get to see often.
He plays villains very well, or just malicious characters incredibly well. One of my favourite roles was actually when he was in the Harry Potter films. But, well, he was only in one of them, he was in the fourth one. But I loved him in that role, even though he was only in it for, like, a few minutes. But, I don't know, I just loved it. Yeah. I'm being very quiet, I'm sorry, I'm just very aware that it's 2 o'clock, so, yeah.
Oh, and with that...
But it's working well.
Well, I'm glad. Although, I always think there's that episode where Scrooge takes the kids to meet his own parents, who are magically, their lives are magically extended. And every
Yeah.
time he addresses his father, I just want to hear him say once, "Who's your daddy?" It's just the way he pronounces it.
Yeah.
Mummy? Daddy?
Mummy? Daddy? Gosh. Oh, that's a good question. Frostbite is asking what is the most painful thing your OC has gone through?
The most painful thing he has gone through.
Hmm.
Most painful thing. Just, I feel like there's a threshold where you just can't compare. But what if I said there was a big Macintosh yodeling competition that was just egregious to sit through? Or does it have to be on screen?
I suppose it doesn't have to be on screen.
I would say of the things people have seen, I think my collab with Keyframe where Silver-Quill had so much coffee he phased into another dimension. That can't be a pleasant feeling.
I don't know if that would be classed as painful, though. I don't know.
Well, then
Would it be painful to be phased into another?
I don't know. Have you tried it?
Well, I've had 2 cups of coffee, so if I have another one, I might be able to tell you.
Just, oh God, it hurts so much, but I'm so awake.
You know what? It actually reminds me of the scene in the animated movie Over the Hedge, where the squirrel, who is voiced by one of my favorite actors ever, Steve Carell, who is basically the reincarnated version of Buster Keaton. The squirrel has some caffeine and ends up moving so fast that everything else just stands still, and he's just walking through a scene casually, like he's walking through a park, and everything else is just frozen in time. That's great. Oh gosh.
I saw a question from Jose asking what I think of the Guy King anime, and I'm afraid I don't have an opinion because I haven't seen it.
No, I haven't seen it either.
I mean, okay, my Japanese is outright terrible, but I'm assuming King is, well, King. So I don't know. Is he the king of the guys? Is he like a dude, bro? Dude, brah.
I don't know.
Bra, dude.
Dude, bro.
Bro.
Dude.
Dude. Bra, dude. Dude, bro.
Oh, Noah, Eden, as asking me favorite animated movie. Oh, honey, you must be new here. I say that because I have a reputation of being the biggest fangirl for Disney Hercules on the planet. I love that movie for its imperfection, how it doesn't follow its own logic, how it has so many animation errors, and the whole what's the word? Disconnect from just. It doesn't need to be accurate to Greek mythology. Everything's wrong, but at the same time, everything is right. Because it's just such a car wreck of a movie, but somehow all the different elements, when you bring like gospel music and Gerald Scarfe's artwork, and then Tate Donovan as Hercules and Susan Egan as Megara, and then James Woods as Hades, and it's just I just adore the movie. But I'm also, before I saw the movie when I was a kid, I was a huge James Woods fan. I loved his work, and then having him voice a Disney character, not just a Disney character, but a Disney villain, and not just that, but the fact that when they hired him to play Hades, they basically saved the movie. But it's also a bit problematic when your villain is more relatable, funnier, and more interesting than your main character. And yeah, I could go on and on about it, but yeah, that's my favorite movie. One of my first videos I made on my channel was for that movie, and I've made a video about the TV series, which I adore. Probably going to make another one because there's a few episodes that I want to just make entire videos just focusing on one particular episode. So yeah.
Let's see.
I was a little bit patronizing when I said, "Oh, honey, you must be new here."
Although that makes me think. The Storm King, in a way, was trying to, I think, tap into the same goofy villainy, but Hades pulled it off so much better.
I think it's because I actually touched upon this in my video, but the very first scene where we see the Storm King actually talk to a character, they're having what is essentially a video call, and he can't figure out where to look, and he has to have Tempest to tell him where to look, and she's also telling him how to use the staff that he has, and I'm like, this is like when I'm trying to tell my parents how to use FaceTime. It's so, like, you can have a villain be funny, but they need to be intimidating. And the Storm King to me was not intimidating because they just made him like this clueless idiot. Like, it just didn't work to me. In fact, I'm like, can you have this movie without the Storm King and just have Tempest be the main villain? You know? I go off on a rant about it in my video, so I don't want to give it all away, but yeah, it was on a similar kind of vibe to Hades. Even in the colour palette, it was very similar. It felt, there was a lot of deja vu in there for me. And it's funny that how many times after Hercules, so many films tried to channel that same energy, and it just didn't work. Maybe, arguably, the only time it probably did work was with Yzma in Emperor's New Groove, but then that film tonally had more of a Looney Tunes or even Tex Avery kind of tone with its comedy, which is maybe arguably you could say that Hercules needed more of that, but I don't know. Like I say, I can go off on a rant about these things a lot. Don't want to take over your stream, Silver.
Oh, okay, take over, take it away. Carry
No,
on,
I
carry on,
don't
karaoke.
But Yzma being voiced by Eartha Kitt as well. She's probably maybe my second favourite Disney villain. Next to Hades.
Well, and you touched on something. For a while, it was kind of a tradition that Disney villains were actually more fun and interesting than the main characters, the ones who we're supposed to root for.
Yeah.
I think that's changed, at least in part, recently. Although there's a greater emphasis on the hidden villains. Like, oh my gosh, that's the bad guy? What a twist.
Yeah. Trying to think when that all started. Did that all start with Toy Story 2?
Atlantis: The Lost Empire. That came out before Toy Story.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not going crazy on this.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was out before Toy Story 2.
That was
But around the same time, yeah.
That was the first one I can recall.
Okay.
But okay, I'll also be honest. That guy was not. I liked him just fine. He was not, in my eyes, a great villain. I mean, a great villain is someone who connects with a hero and affects them on a personal level. I don't think he did that so much.
No.
Anyway, I feel like I've taken us away from other people's questions. Let's have what's another good question we can delve into?
Let's see. There's one for me, but it's asking what my favorite pony is and least favorite pony. Ooh. Again, you must be. It's from the same person actually that asked me about the favorite animated movie. Again, you must be new here. for maybe you can answer this question too, but my favorite pony character is Pinkie Pie, but the one that is most like me is probably Rarity, but I wish I was a Pinkie Pie, but I'm not. I'm more of a Rarity. Least favorite pony? I don't have a least favorite. I love them all to some degree. I don't really agree with having a least favorite. Can't pick one that I hate or yeah. How about you, Silver?
Well, my favorite pony is Fluttershy, as she reminds me a lot of how I was growing up.
Mhm.
And I'm not going to say least favorite in that I actively dislike them, but I've said before that I felt Princess Cadence had a lot of untapped potential. And
Yeah.
and it's just I was always sort of waiting for her to have a moment where she was tempted to not love or to not be just this sort of fairy tale princess. I think a friend of mine once described her as the Disney princess that escaped.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that ever happened. I know she certainly got mad at villains, but they're villains. You're supposed to be
Mm.
mad at them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more like, was there ever a pony who just frustrated her and she had to work through her own feelings on that?
Mm.
Oh, I should add a note about the art. I've pretty much completed all the portrait views, and now it would just be copying and pasting these wings. These wings are linked files. There's a lot of them now, but really I just drew one wing, and I've been linking it because if Night Mist wants to update the wing design, instead of having to redraw them on every single pose, I just update the base file and it'll automatically repopulate here. So that's one example of working smarter, which I don't often do. But I don't think it be. Thank you all for watching me update his facial expressions to match this. I might tweak a few more, but it's not the most interesting. I'm going to switch gears just a little because
Mhm.
I just requested some additional poses, including where he suffered a crash landing.
Ooh.
So I sketched it out. Very, very basic sketch. Let's take this, put it way at the top.
Ah. I think this is the first time I'm seeing pencil sketches from you.
I don't portray them very often. It's not. I
You
guess,
should. They're
yeah,
cute.
good. I don't know. They're very basic. It's more like just a loose structure, and then I really, really try to refine it in Illustrator.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Scrunchy. I need wings and the scrunchy. This would help if I had run. I should run my script that actually organizes everything by all the layers by name. There we go.
I don't name my layers. It's a terrible habit because sometimes with my art pieces, especially like the full colored pieces, I'll end up with not as many layers as you, but like I think I remember at least having 40 or 50 different layers, and I don't name any of them.
I'd worry for anyone who had this many layers, unless it was like this grand landscape with every flower on its own layer. Then maybe, but don't try to have this many. Oh. I see a question from Gojilion91, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. I've gotten to talk with him at conventions.
Oh,
Asking me, what was your first Godzilla movie? And how did I get into it? Followed by the question to Maddie, are you into Godzilla? So, Maddie,
oh.
you first. Have you seen the Godzilla-ness?
My fiance is Godzilla mad. We've watched there's a anime of Godzilla that's on Netflix, and we watched all three of those together. Well, two of them when we were actually together in America, and then the third one we watched over video call. The first Godzilla movie I watched was the terrible American one, and that was released in like 1998 or 1997.
Oh.
The one with Matthew Broderick. That's a lot of fish. And I saw the Godzilla movie from 2015. And that's pretty much all of the Godzilla films I have seen. I want to watch more of them. I need to educate myself on them more. Yeah, I like them. I love Mecha Godzilla, which is really bizarre. I don't know why. I've just always had this fascination with Mecha Godzilla.
Like,
yeah.
Like the one depicted in Japanese movies, or was the
Yes.
If the anime was your first encounter, then I don't know if Mechagodzilla City really counts.
No, it doesn't. But I haven't actually seen the entire movies with Mechagodzilla. But when I've seen screenshots, and as a kid, I was just fascinated with this thing. And yeah, one of these days we will watch it. But we're trying to watch them chronologically. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a challenge, because obviously there's some movies that are available in America that aren't available here, and so just I want to educate myself further with it, basically, is what I'm saying. But the film, oh gosh, what was it called? Oh no. Ready Player One.
Yes.
Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Yes. Where they had the Iron Giant fighting Mechagodzilla. And funny story about this. I was watching this film while I was on a flight back home to Scotland from America in 2018. And the flight, I was lucky enough to have pretty much a whole row to myself. So I was able to like stretch out, lie down, whatever. And then the film was on, and I was just geeking out, like proper nerd, kind of just trying to find someone to geek out with, and no one cared. I was like, but it's how giant and Mecha cuts. No one cares. Okay, I'm just going to return to my pathetic bag of peanuts while I watch this film on a plane for another. It killed 3 hours of the journey. It was a 7-hour long flight, so.
Goodness.
Yeah. The first flight of 2, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
So. Yeah.
I am repeatedly impressed by the devotion of fans who journey from other countries to come to conventions. I'm like, oh, I had to spend 2 hours on a plane. Oh, that's nice. I've been on a plane since yesterday. I mean, no one's actually said talk to me like that, but I was like, you'd be within your rights to do so.
I'll be taking notes next time I see you. If I'm over in America, I'll just be like, so I was traveling for 3 days straight in the snow, and we were grateful. No.
Yes, we will.
Most people in the chat will not get that reference. Never mind.
Well, just think of it this way. I can introduce you to the horrors of passive aggression.
Ow.
What, was that loud too?
Huh? No, it was just unexpected.
Oh, well, good. That means it worked.
It did work.
It's working. I'm being extra annoying.
Yes.
Now, as for myself and the Godzilla franchise, the first Godzilla movie I ever saw was way back in middle school, when most of you weren't born yet. And I was at a Blockbuster Video. Showing my age.
I remember those. I used to work in one of those.
And I guess I was in the sci-fi section, and I guess I just saw it, and on a whim, Godzilla was always like a pop culture thing. I'd always seen, I'd always like seen references to it. I think actually one of the first times I really saw a strong reference to it was the Godzilla versus Charles Barkley promo. Like they said, "Oh, at the next Super Bowl, we'll see Charles Barkley versus Godzilla," and it was kind of a non-event. But so I rented it, and for those, I think most people know of Godzilla versus Megalon because it was viewed on Mystery Science Theater 3000. But
Oh yeah.
I saw it. I saw it there, and I actually thought it was kind of cool. I have an active imagination, and so I know they're guys in suits, but there's just something in my brain that allows me to really believe it's a giant lizard or a giant cockroach thingy trying to smash up the world. And then there's Jet Jaguar, the most bizarre robot hero I've seen in a while. I mean, it's kind of funny that I actually have seen a lot of robot heroes. But I really liked it. So I started this. Every chance I got to go to a Blockbuster, I'd see what Godzilla movies they had in store. And really, I had much greater freedom for that when I was older and had a driver's license. I remember feeling kind of sad at the end of Godzilla Reigns Again, which seemed to be his grand finale as they chucked him into a volcano.
Yeah.
But then I learned that they were rebooting or continuing with what I think they call the Heisei era.
I wouldn't know. My fiance would know. He's probably, if he's watching, he'll probably be shouting, "I want to join the conversation so I can correct everything you were saying about the Godzilla franchise." I don't know. I have no idea.
Just want to say that I've just found the fan artwork of Silver-Quill as a show-accurate sea pony. And no, I hadn't seen this before, so thank you for letting me know.
Oh.
So I am adding it to my favorites, and then I have to change the collection because DeviantArt is weird. Silver-Quill fan art, there we go. Done. Oh, that's
Awesome.
lovely. It's beautiful. Here, Maddie, I will send you a link in the old Skype.
I was just about to ask you if you could do that. Yay! I'll have a look.
Now, as you can all see,
Oh, that's awesome.
I am cheating a little with copying elements over because, well, I'm trying to get this done in a relatively efficient time. Everything's
Well,
relative.
I would say it's not cheating. It's not cheating, it's saving time.
Yeah, there. It's Mad Munchkin.
Oh, Sweetie
approved.
Blue wants to see.
Oh, here we go. Let's see. I will put the link in. Whoops. What did I just do? I enlarged. Yes. If you all look carefully.
You posted it in the YouTube chat.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
But I also enlarged the video in YouTube, so everything shifted. It's like, oh god, what did I break?
Oh.
Everything I touch, I destroy.
Clear Pigeon is asking, what would your opinions be on MLPG5 being 3D were it to happen? That's a good question.
3D. I mean, I've seen so much of 3D come out, and really its evolution in many respects. I mean, it used
I'm assuming when they say 3D, they mean CG.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I actually scoped out Philly Fantasia, which has an Italian dub, only can be really seen online. And honestly, I did, compared to some of the stuff I saw when I was younger, trying to go for computer graphics, it's a league's better animation. The character models were not always my favorite. I don't think that saying it's a CG series is the curse it once was. That said, it always comes down to writing. I mean, Reboot, a series that that was not really great. It was really good CG for the time, but it doesn't hold up. But the story and the characters are wonderful. So if you tell me, oh, reboot's no good, I say, how dare you? How dare you? I challenge you to pistols at dawn. It's dawn somewhere.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, Olivia.
I'm going to go for a quick bathroom.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go for a quick bathroom break. I'll be right back.
Yes, excellent.
I'll be right back, guys. This is what happens when you drink 2 cups of coffee back to back.
Oh, I can feel her pain. I received a recommendation to drink lots more water. And I have had now approximately 3,400 milliliters today. I have very long bathroom breaks. I'm sure that's vital information you all wanted to know. But first off, I want to thank everyone for hanging with me and asking myself and Maddie questions. And just, these are fun. Honestly, I think this is more engaging than if I were trying to draw this a solo mio. A solo mio. That was somewhat stereotypical. Sorry. So, but now I'm in the silence. Oh, yes, I will answer a question from Jasper Pye from earlier. Which of us is the bigger punching bag? Which is a fair question, but it's also a logical loop. Because think about it. If we have a competition to see who's the greater punching bag, whoever loses is losing to the greater punching bag, but that means they're the greater punching bag, and therefore black becomes white and man is killed at a zebra crossing.
I return.
Welcome back. Luigi Man 81 asking, what free art program do you recommend, Silver? Inkscape is very comparable to Illustrator, which I enjoy. And it's a free program. It's good to get the fundamentals down, and honestly, with the abundance of YouTube tutorials and how-to videos out there, I'm sure you can learn things I don't even know about. I learned on Illustrator. I was sort of brought into the vector world with Illustrator, so I'm an Illustrator guy all the way, but it is expensive. And I don't... Maddie, what's your opinion on Creative Cloud services?
Are you asking me?
Indeed I am.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you just... welcome back.
Mm.
Welcome back. Answer the question! Meh.
So the Creative Cloud is in, like, Adobe
Adobe
softwares?
and similar
Yeah.
services, yes.
Yeah. Photoshop is the main program I use for most of my artwork, but when it comes to it works for me. That's what I learned digital art on, really, because that was the program we used when I was at art school when we were learning digital art. But the first program I used before that was a program with a very unfortunate name, GIMP. That is a free program. It has a terrible interface because every single part of it is in a separate window, which is, or when I used it, it was. There's also Krita, or Krita, Krita, which is a good program to use. Yes, Krita. And Inkscape as well, which you mentioned. But I just stick with Photoshop because that's my comfort zone. But I do recommend people trying out Krita as well if they're looking for a program that's similar to Photoshop but it's free. But I do recommend making donations to the people that made the program. So, yeah.
Also, I will say my inner frat boy is giggling very heavily at the GIMP is free.
Yeah. He's going all Beavis and Butthead on us now.
Maturity? What's that?
Can you eat it? Is it food? Is mayonnaise an instrument?
Well, now my inner frat boy is going, challenge accepted.
Mm.
I will eat this maturity. I don't. Well, that sounds just wrong. Okay, moving
Mm.
hastily onward. That's
That's hilarious.
I will get you to giggle and.
Oh, there's a good question for you,
Uh,
Silver-Quill. What are your thoughts on Frozen and Frozen 2, if you've seen them?
well, everyone brings up Frozen. It's like they just can't let it go.
Ah,
Yes, low-hanging fruit, but I'm willing to grasp it.
and then with Frozen 2, if you haven't seen it, you're really about to venture into the unknown.
Actually, I heard some critiques of Frozen 2, but I have not yet seen it. I don't know.
I see.
Things were hectic, so I haven't made the time to really watch that one. Partly because it just seemed like Frozen 1 was a really good self-contained story. It's like, does this need a sequel? Does it really? I did really enjoy it, but I have my own horror story with it. I went to go see it with two local friends. One of them has a reaction whenever people say something stupid. I think she feels the need to punish the universe for allowing such stupidity. So I forget which line it was, but in the midst of this movie, probably Olaf, because it has to be Olaf, we're watching it, and all of a sudden the back of her hand just slams down on my chest. And I'm like, ugh! And I'm sure the entire theater was like, shh, or what is up with them? And I just look like, why did you do that? And I've never let it go since. So every time I watch Frozen, I get chest pains.
Wow.
So, but Frozen, okay. You talk about hidden villains in Disney movies. I actually felt like the prince there. At first, I was like, "Oh, he's just one of those really perfect princes," and like, she'll probably figure he's too boring for her, or she'll want some adventure and not go for Mr. Straightface. Wait, did he just say that? Wait, is he the bad guy?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, my estimation of him just shot up considerably. So I was impressed by that hidden villain, mostly because I'd written him off beforehand.
Yeah.
I mean, we're used to the Prince Charming of Disney movies, the stereotype. And, And now, here's something new.
I did appreciate the twist in Frozen with the, well, I know it was another twist villain, but for me, it was a twist villain done well, because you didn't really see it coming. So, yeah.
Or if you did...
Also, just, I remember, it was foreshadowed a little bit if you pay attention with the song, Love is an Open Door. He's like, I've been searching my whole life to find my own place, yada, yada, yada. So it is there, but it was quite subtly done, in my opinion anyway. I remember I saw it in the theaters twice. The first time, I was seeing it with a friend who had already seen it, and then it got to that moment where it's revealed that he's the bad guy, and you just hear gasps, like audible gasps around you, or someone going, "What? Did he just say that? What?" Yeah.
Oh, now I'm trying to think.
As for...
There was an abridged series where they actually say, audible gasp.
Yeah.
I can't remember that. I think it was Code Meant. Well, either way, it's just a small aside. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No.
Yes.
I think I was pretty much done anyway.
I've silenced my guest, the ultimate faux pas. Actually, I could use your feedback as I am working my way towards the legs. I came up with two poses. I really wanted to emphasize crash landing and to make it uncomfortable. So, in the initial sketch, I have one leg going down and one leg is kind of up in the air, like he's just landing and the
Mm-hmm.
momentum. But I wondered, I also
Yeah.
then tried sketching out if the leg was even further forward. But then I thought, well, does it look like I've broken his legs then? That wouldn't be so good.
Yeah, you don't want to have the leg too forward because then it's either going to look like he's broken his leg, which you don't want, or it's going to look anatomically incorrect. So you're like
Well, I feel like
finding the.
this curved rump is already pretty stretching the bounds of anatomics. I mean,
Yeah.
Sweetie Bloom is watching in the chat and giving her equine knowledge. She's like, "No, that's wrong."
That's not how horses work.
Now, Reddy, I saw a question coming up in the chat for you. Have you seen any of the Hello Pinkie Pie shorts? Little claymation stop motion.
Oh, the Hello Pinkie Pie shorts are the CGI ones, and then there's also the
Oh yeah, wow.
stop motion shorts. Yeah, I haven't seen them. I've seen Doc's videos on them, but I haven't actually gone out of my way to watch them myself. I actually kind of find the CG Pinkie Pie kind of uncanny a little bit. I'm not entirely sure why. I just find that the shift from getting so used to seeing Pinkie Pie 2D, whether it be the Flash animated from the series or the Toon Boom version from the movie, and then seeing the CG, I'm just like, I don't know how I feel about this. There's just something about, like, sometimes, I'm sorry I keep interrupting you, but
we can't see each other because we're both focusing on screens, and it happens with international calls and any Skype call, really.
Yeah, with CG, a character like Pinkie Pie, it's very much all about the squash and stretch kind of Tex Avery Looney Tunes kind of the style of animation, which you can have in CG. Like look at Hotel Transylvania for a good example, or Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. You know that kind of style of animated comedy works really well in those kind of films, but for this CG version of Pinkie, it doesn't quite work for me, in my opinion. Also, the different voice actor is very jarring, but this is all just personal opinion here. So,
well, I remember.
I'm waiting to see. Sorry, on you go.
No, you're waiting to see.
No, continue. It's okay.
Like, are you waiting for Godot? Godot, get out here, Godot. I remember, like, it was the very first Hello Pinkie Pie where she's doing this funny dance where her body's wiggling back and forth, but her head is completely stationary.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that really looks creepy. It's meant to be funny and silly, but I'm kind of creeped out right now.
It's the whole uncanny valley kind of thing. There's something just completely off about it, and you can't place what it is.
It's like I used to think the worst Pinkie demon was in Doom, but now I know better.
Oh, that you tweeted a picture of the dope fish.
And at the time, I had no idea what that was.
I had no idea what it was either. I had to look it up, and then it's like, oh, it's the dope fish mascot thing. But I looked up after you posted that image. I haven't played the new Doom game, so I'm just like trying to find videos so that I could see it in gameplay, and it's horrifically ugly. Like, and it's probably the creepiest thing in the whole game.
It's the teeth.
It's so cartoony in comparison to everything else, and it's just horrendous.
Actually, I take it back. It's not just the teeth. It also has very bloodshot eyes. It's like it's got a lot of detail. for
Yeah.
a cartoon character, and you're like, I was ready for every horror of hell imaginable, but not this thing.
No.
Not this thing. I was unloading like 3 rounds into it. It's like, how do I kill you? Why won't you die?
Oh, Lord.
I think it was the only time Doom Guy felt fear. Yes, I am the Doom Guy, but not really.
The only other time is the oh, just having flashbacks of Daisy, his rabbit.
Oh yes, his precious rabbit, which I learned she's an
His
Easter
precious rabbit.
she's an Easter egg too.
Yeah.
Oh crumbs! I done goofed again. This is where undo. I would love to petition for
Control C.
for life to have an undo. I wish life could have an undo button. How many of the world's problems would be solved if there were an undo button?
That you quote from Megamind, and he says, I've looked into the reset button. The science is impossible. That's one of my favourite lines from the movie. Oh, jeez. That movie is very underrated.
So I need to refresh myself on that. Can you believe I've only seen bits and pieces? It's criminal.
Really?
Yes, it's criminal of me, I tell you. Because apparently it's one
It's
of the best it's one of the best character arc stories from what I understand.
I would say so. I think it suffered because it came out around the same time as Despicable Me, which has a very similar kind of story about a villain becoming a good guy. But I think Megamind pulled it off better, but that's just my opinion. It's probably my favourite DreamWorks movie. Yeah, I loved it. I saw that film at least 4 times in theaters. I loved it so much.
I really don't like the shape of this hoof. I mean, okay, wow. If I move it here, I really don't like it. But where it is, hooves. I think people will disagree with me, but like back hooves, I think you should highlight that they're not a perfect circle, unless they are.
Yeah.
I mean, this design.
I'm looking at it.
Hmm?
Sorry, continue.
No, I want to hear this. You're looking at it?
I'm wondering if you should be able to see some of the hoof at the bottom, like underneath. I'm not explaining myself very well.
Oh no, I think I understand. Whoop. But mostly I'm trying to have an angle away. So if I add a little,
I can see what you're trying to. Oh no, because you've zoomed out. No, I can see what you're trying to do. It's okay.
Okay. Here, that might help. Of course, now it's the wrong color. This is where ink dropper tool, one of my favorites. I just make it like so, and like so. And if I go back over here, ta-da! Magic.
Magic. Or if you're full of witchcraft.
Or if you're in the Warhammer universe, heresy.
Heresy. Yeah, my fiance loves Warhammer.
Really now?
Yes.
It's funny. I have a friend who's a avid Warhammer fan. I can't really talk about it in front of him where he launches into a lore tirade covering pretty much the entirety of the series. I'm like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
I don't understand the words coming out of your mouth. Are you high? Don't be high. Not unless you brought it up for everybody. But yeah, I am actually kind of impressed by Warhammer. I've been gaining appreciation for it.
I don't know if my fiance's watching or not. Let me check Discord real quick.
But it's kind of funny. Warhammer is like the antithesis of My Little Pony. They're polar opposite in thematics.
Yeah.
And yet, I'm always fascinated by the cross. I don't know what to call it. The shared fandom, as we have members in the Brony fandom who are also avid Warhammer fans, and folks who are more Warhammer, but they kind of enjoy. They find it funny to have My Little Pony. At the same time, I've seen artwork of Space Marines attacking ponies that I don't want to share with anyone.
No. I've seen some of them.
Like,
if they're the ones that I think you mean.
And I'm just like, dang, guys, I get you may not like the show, but dang. Then again, maybe this is part of that whole grimdark thing.
Yeah.
Actually, is a part of the way to maintain my sanity while working in isolation. I've been listening to a guy, Baldermort's Guide to Warhammer. So it's like Lord Voldemort, but Baldermort, because I assume he has hair trouble like I do. And aside from having a very eloquent voice, he really conveys the passion he feels for these characters and the setting. So I gain a better appreciation. I always like when I can gain appreciation for a fandom outside of my usual circle.
My fiance sent me a video of that person you're talking about, literally like 2 days ago. So, yeah. The voice reminds me of, oh gosh, what is the name of the voice actor for Goliath in Gargoyles?
I forget. I remember that
goodness.
super smexy voice. I'm sure the chat will educate us very quickly.
Yes. Good Lord. Keith David, thank you. I knew it was Keith something. I couldn't remember. Yeah, it's Keith David. Rikaku said that now, like, several people are just posting Keith David in the chat now.
The lag between art speaking and what the stream puts out is almost as fascinating as the lag I suffer commuting to work. I'm sorry if I sound bitter. I've been dealing with it all week. I'm venting. I'll have a tall venti, size me.
Size me.
Size me.
Well, they're asking, so MLP Disney Lover is asking who the character is you're creating.
This is for Night Mist, who's a Navy service person and one of my Patreon supporters. And so unfortunately, I've been very, very slow in getting this to him. So this is a way to fulfill my promises. And he's been so patient. I definitely wanted to get some custom poses to him, including this crash. And I say I really appreciate that he's willing to have a silly character who's in a embarrassing moment, because if you can't have a good laugh at yourself, what hope is there for the rest of the world?
Precisely. I think so many people take life far too seriously. Life's too short to be taking it too seriously, I think.
Oh, don't let Josh Scorcher hear you say that. He's made a whole brand on that. A fire brand, if you will.
He's a funny guy.
I try to be.
Yeah, Keith David is also the voice actor for Dr. Facilier in Princess and the Frog.
Oh, yes. His song, Are You Ready? Of course, he's also the voice actor for Spawn in that animated series, which... There's like, why is Goliath saying those words? Goliath is cursing. I don't know what to do. This is all kinds of... up.
Wow.
You know, it's great. I use that in calls with my family. and they're even more worried for my sanity now.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
Because I never see it coming.
They're like, what is the internet? Is this the internet doing it to you, or is it the isolation? Yes!
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, wow, like this, it looks like he was the unfortunate victim of a carnivore. Oh, got your hoof.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's see here. And then it's just a question of layering. There we are. So, yeah. I really enjoy the Pathfinder tool, which allows you to combine or divide shapes based on how they overlap. It is... Honestly, when I started, I thought I was more a Photoshop guy as well, because Photoshop is much better for painting and gradients. But the flexibility in drawing vectors won me over for the time being. I'd still endorse Photoshop for, the style of artwork you do, Maddie. The very beautiful use of colors and stroke lines. I feel more like an architect when I make vectors.
When I see people make vectors like you're doing, it's like I would love to challenge myself to build vectors, but I just don't think, as you say, it's more like architecture than illustration, because you're using like the pen tool and you're adjusting the line work, and it's in a very subtle way. Whereas with me, I'm like the way that I build up stuff, it's very much just add a line, then I'm drawing over the top of the line, but I'm not deleting the old line, so it ends up a very dirty, kind of messy image. But as it builds up, it gets cleaner and cleaner even. But I just don't think I'd be able to process making vectors because it's just too clean for me. But when I see other people do it, I admire it, if that makes sense. Also, by the way, we have Voice of Reason in the chat.
Yes, I see him answering the question, who's the better sniper? At first I thought they were asking, who's the better sniper voice? But no. Voice of Reason, good to see you. And, I think they both killed my character, so I hate them both. Maddie, I could use your advice. We're back to the angle of the leg. So what I've done is right here. I'm going to zoom in.
Yep.
This little point is the center of a rotation. Everything will rotate based on its relation. So I'm going to just start at an extreme. Don't think I'll do it, but I'm going to move it back, and you just say when.
Oh, okay. There is a little bit of a delay from when I see what you're doing, so that might not work.
I can go backwards.
But, okay.
Also, that little angle indicator helps. I'll go very slow, and you can just note the number if possible.
Oh, I'll need to zoom in 1 sec, because I can't actually see the number.
Oh, zoom. Well, here, I'll zoom in for you.
Also, I'm not wearing my glasses.
Then I've put you in an improper... I apologize. That's... Never mind.
No, you're fine. Okay. I would bring it forward more, but not
like so?
too much. Like forward toward his head, but yeah.
Forward, like so? A little more, a little less?
A little bit more.
Again, art and graphics are much more
I'm
fun
worried
than
that
sound effects.
it's just looking like it's just pointing straight up, so maybe just a little bit more. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's about right.
There you go. That actually matches pretty close to the curve of his body.
Yeah.
So where's the sky? Up there.
Oh, That looks good to me. Okay. Getting back to the... Looking at the chat now. Do you know how many times your character has died in the TF2 analysis series? I think the more apt question would be how many times your character has died in your own series, but because I think the number is higher. But
Well, the truth is, every time
I could be wrong.
I for a while there, I put a notch in my bedpost every time my character died, but then my bed disintegrated. So I haven't kept track. I'm sure that my KD ratio is somewhere in the high triple-digit negatives.
Yeah. Oh, there was a question about wait. Gosh, the chat is moving rather fast.
It is. It's one I'm very impressed and grateful for people's eagerness and participation.
You have like 64 people watching.
Unacceptable. I need 2 more. I need 2 more just so I can say that this is a devil of a good time.
I knew you were going to say that. I was just waiting for it.
Right?
Well, that's how many you have on YouTube. 64. So I don't know how many you have on Twitch.
Oh, I thought you said 664. I was like, it's so close.
Now it's 65, but now it's gone back down to 63.
I was like, he's okay. Sorry, this isn't the church meeting. You know what I mean? But just 666 viewers. I'm like, that would be something. And if it just stayed there no matter what, it's like, okay, now I'm actually getting creeped out.
You have 5 people watching on Twitch.
5 people. Well, I'm grateful to those 5 people.
We're just going to shout out the numbers now. Because it's just shot up to like 72 on YouTube.
Do I hear 72? 72. Okay. Oh, we got to 75. 75. Going to 75. Right? Oh, now we're down to 30.
Place your bets. Place your bets.
Place your bets. Place your bets. How long until Silver-Quill says something that'll offend the entire audience? He'll be down to 2. I tell you, 2. And one of those 2 is just him watching himself. It's really sad.
Oh, jeez. I'm trying my best not to laugh too loud.
Well, I recall one time we were in a Skype call, text group, and I made a joke that apparently made you laugh aloud and wake everyone up at like 2 in the morning. I became an international incident. I was so proud.
Well, there was one time you typed something in the Skype chat, and I laughed so hard I scared my cat. You know how cats, when they get scared, they'll just jump suddenly in the air, and then they'll land and kind of look around shocked, but then they'll be like, no, I totally meant to do that. Just made my cat jump. This was ages ago. I can't even remember what it was. I just remember that you made me laugh and my cat jumped out of her skin.
Well, that's
funny.
That's a high compliment right there. Although, did the cat look at you like, how dare you?
Well, usually she'll just kind of look around and just kind of, I totally meant to do that. I did that for your entertainment. Yeah. Oh, Sweetie Bloom remembers that. Can't remember what you said to make me laugh, but yeah.
Well, I remember we were sharing Monty Python quotes, and I think you used a quote from the Spoonie Experiment. And I said, oh, I see you've played Monty Spoonie before.
That's not a knife, that's a spoon. Oh, I see you've played knife and Spoonie before. Oh my gosh, funny. Oh, Nora Eden is asking, they're asking you what your favourite MLP fanfiction is, and if you've read Fallout Equestria.
I haven't gotten to read Fallout Equestria. I have a copy of Fiora the Tank Girl's Dead Tree. But again, I'm very bad at carving out time. I need to sit down and actually read it. I got to listen to a little bit of the first chapter at HarmonyCon, where she had a panel. My favorite My Little Pony fanfiction is my friend Trinary. Actually, I can look this up real quick. He reminded me of the author just recently. It was like Under Earth and Sky. Forgive me one quick diversion as I go to my Twitter and look up where I originally posted this.
Sure.
I also remember, how do I put this? There were a couple weird events this past week. I'm seeing them listed on my Twitter. It's like, he told me not to crop the fish. That's a line I actually said at work. Never thought I'd ever do that.
Sweetie Bloom. Silver's looking through his Twitter. We'll be here all night.
Oh, we'll be here all night. Let's see here. Well, basically, my favorite fan fiction is this story, unfortunately by a recently passed away author. It was about... It started with a flash forward story of Big Mac and Fluttershy are married and expecting their first child. And then it flashes even further forward to where Twilight and Rarity go into business to create artificial wings, much like Twilight did for Rarity in Sonic Rainbow. And well, that's a very poor summary because so much is happening in this. And yet it was just really well done, very imaginative, drawing really well described, and it felt very true to the show, while at the same time being adventurous enough to try its own style. But for the life of me, I'm bad at remembering. I feel bad that I can't remember the author right off the top of my head. But I also
maybe it will come to you later.
Well, let's see here. But I confess I also haven't gotten to read a lot of fan fiction. Because there's just only so many hours in the day, and I fear I waste too many of them.
I'm trying to remember the name of one of the... I haven't read a lot of fan fictions. I usually listen to dramatic readings of them on YouTube.
Ooh, is there a...
So, like you, I don't really have time to read, because if you're reading something, you can't really do something else at the same time, so I prefer to listen while I'm working or something. It was one... What was it? What was it called? I have read Fallout Equestria. One second. I'm hearing scratching at my door. I think my cat wants in. 1 second.
Are you podcasting without me? How dare! How dare! It's just funny. I was in a Twitch call. No, not Twitch. Zoom call with friends, and one friend had their dog with them. One had their cat, and I was jealous of both. I miss getting to hang with my family's puppy.
Oh. Ow. Pitiful.
Oh, is the cat scratching you?
No, the wire for my earphones got caught on the, I'm sitting at a desk, and it's the drawer for your keyboard.
Uh-huh.
The wire got caught in the runner.
Ooh.
Yeah. Don't know how. There we go. Let me find it. I think... Actually, this would be easier. Instead of going into my history, which would take me forever on YouTube, I'm just going to go... Because I know that Doc did a dramatic reading of it, and I can remember what the thumbnail art looked like. So let me find it.
Let's see. I gotta add a bit more
Where are you?
curve here.
Dramatic readings. This one. Huh. That's not what I thought. Maybe it's not that one. I think it's called The Keepers of Discord.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So it's
By
about
Hoopy McKee. It's about Discord when he's a statue, I think.
Oh, that sounds like a rather stagnant story.
I think I've got it right there. I might be getting it mixed up with something else.
Day 776. A bird pooed on me. When I get out, kill all the birds. Or maybe I'm thinking of that golem from Dragon's Age. It had a
Yeah.
vendetta against chickens.
Mm.
Which, just to show that everything comes full circle, maybe it saw Return to Oz as well. It's like, I'm not going to get killed
I
by
was
no
just
chicken.
about to say, don't you know that eggs are poisonous to gnomes? I forgot how scary the Gnome King is,
No kidding.
as he's slowly turning human. Just, horrendous.
Yeah. Whoever dreamt that up, in some ways I kind of like it when writers are willing to scare kids. You know, don't
Oh
pamper.
yeah, for sure.
Don't pamper them. Because
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember, was it Don Bluth who said you can show kids the scariest imagery in the world as long as it was all a dream or
Yes,
it's a happy ending?
I believe so. Yes.
It's an interesting philosophy. I
Mm.
don't know, maybe I'm just burnt out on everybody screaming, this is ruining children. Kids are watching My Little Pony.
I think
Ruin children.
I know. Kids can handle more than people realize. Would you think? I can't say their name. Matt, something 91. Would you think? Is it Kmark or from the Never Ending Story is also scary?
I'm sorry, which character?
I'm not sure.
The wolf? Is it the wolf at the end?
I think they must mean the wolf. I'm not sure.
Well, I do remember that the wolf was quite terrifying. As it's in shadow, and
Yes.
the only thing you really see are its teeth, its fangs, and
Yeah.
that's that triggers something very primal within us.
Yeah. I still remember that. I've only seen the Never Ending Story movie once, and that's the only thing I can really remember, other than the horse in the mud.
Oh well, that's just the most
And-
depressing scene. What? Why is the horse
Oh, yeah, for
depressed? Oh, Wilbur, what's the point of it
Yep.
all, Wilbur?
Yeah.
But then note that they at the end they say, "Oh, look, the horse is alive again." So it's like, okay, yeah, you can be that depressing and still say, "Oh, it's okay in the end." Though for the life of me, I still can't remember the name he gave to the Empress.
No. I'm going to have to watch that film again. I think the films are on Netflix. I can watch them again.
Yeah, you might want to skip the sequels.
I remember one of the sequels had Jack Black in it.
Yes, the third one, but it's
Yeah.
Jack Black is a unique style of humor. I don't think he was living up to his full Well, he was pretty young back then. I don't think he had even realized his full style yet.
Mm.
Now, Maddie, what time is it for you?
Mm-hmm. It's just after 3 a.m.
How are you feeling?
I'm doing good.
Okay, if you say, I trust you, but don't want you burnt out on my account.
I'll be fine. I think I can manage maybe another 20 minutes.
All right. Well, I'm just about there. Yes, the embarrassing, that would make one heck of a toupee right there.
Yeah, it looks good with the tail like falling over. I like that.
I was like, what can I do with the tail? The easy thing would be to have it droop the other way, but it's funnier this way. Yes, I understand pain.
Yeah. No, I like it. The tail's funny.
There is a line from another Warhammer series. If the Emperor had a speech-to-text device, it's probably the funniest way to introduce yourself into that fandom. One of the characters who's not quite right in the head. Oh, I burned horribly. On that day, Payne and I became the best of friends. And he's like the best character in a long while, just because he's just way out there. And yes, as my friend put it, he would be a brony in the Warhammer universe.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like in some ways I should try to integrate that with Silver-Quill at point. Oh yeah, Payne's an old friend. Celestia, I've come to bargain. Yeah, I crossed the fandoms right there. Yeah.
Oh, good lord.
Jazzerman 101 knows who I'm talking about, though. Vulcan, Lord of the Salamanders. Whose basic theme is, we will protect you, people of the world, by lighting everything on fire.
Oh. And it's funny, we've had Sweetie Bloom say, go to bed. I've had, we've got a few people called Frost in the chat, but one of them is a mod from our Discord server, and they're like, go to bed! I'm like, no. No, all the cool people are awake. Yeah.
You think Americans are cool?
I should hope so. I'm moving there, so.
Well, it'll be cool to welcome you, and to have another awesome person within the similar time zone, so I won't have to subject you to this.
More similar time zones will make things a lot easier for, yeah, in general. But you know, I'm used to this, so it's fine.
By the way, I haven't checked with the chat since I tried adjusting my audio level and yours. To the folks out there, are we better balanced? It'll take a minute for the chat to catch up.
Yeah, it will take them a minute.
But I want to make sure that I'm doing everyone right by not blasting them with one voice and making them lean in with the other.
I'm apparently still louder than you.
And he's still loud.
So,
I'm a little... Man, I don't understand. Is it... I wonder if I have to go...
Well, for some people we're balanced, for some we're not, so I think you're okay.
Okay, well,
so.
I'd love to accommodate everyone. But
yeah,
this is the real world, and you can't always get what you want.
There's Metalhead Brony. I remember Metalhead Brony because they gave me, I think it's the right person, they gave me an Ailstorm album at BronyCon 2018, I believe.
Metalhead's been,
which was awesome.
Been supporting me for a while, for which I'm grateful. Let's see here. Ooh, that looks weird.
Ooh, favorite Don Bluth movie? That's the question for both of us.
Oh, wow. Favorite Don Bluth movie? There are so many.
Mm,
I
yeah,
mean, so many I really like. But then
yeah.
I've also not kept up with the full library. I confess part of it is still just word of mouth with some folks.
Mm.
You first, Maddie. I want to hear your
Oh, okay.
answers.
Um, Don Bluth movies are amazing. I love The Rats of Nim. Um, I loved All Dogs Go to Heaven. I love Anastasia. But I think my favorite one is probably All Dogs Go to Heaven. Um, that was back in the day. Before internet was a thing or wasn't as world dominating yet. It was I would go and visit family that live about a 3 hour drive away when I was a kid, and one of the films they had on VHS was All Dogs Go to Heaven, which we didn't own. So I would just go there and I would just watch that film over and over and over. I loved it so much. Um, I I loved the music. I loved the voice acting. I loved Itchy. That's probably where my love for dachshunds came from, because Itchy is a dachshund in that movie.
Ah,
Uh, yeah, I think, or he might be a basset. I better look that up later. Pretty sure he's a dachshund. Um, yeah, Land Before Time's a good one too.
oh,
Um, yeah, American Tail. That was another one that I grew up with. But yeah, I think my favourite will always be All Dogs Go to Heaven, because that one, even now, watching it as an adult, it still makes me cry. Still. And that's saying something.
for me, now that you say it, I remember watching All Dogs Go to Heaven, and I loved when the little girl's singing "Soon You'll Come Home, Home to My Heart." It's like
Yeah.
that was really great song. And then there's that scene where Charlie envisions himself going to hell. Just like
Yeah.
whoa.
hmm
But
It's one of the reasons why my sister cannot watch that movie, because she hasn't watched it since she was a kid, so she's remembering it differently. And I'm like, if you watch it now, it's honestly not that bad, and she cannot bring herself to watch it. I'm like, okay, fair enough. Anyway, sorry, continue. I interrupted.
uh, but I got to be a hipster then, because if you chose that, I have to do something different.
Oh.
Or but I will say, Land Before Time. Oh, you can make me cry. God, the
Yeah.
scene where Littlefoot is his mom is dying. Oh my God,
Yep.
they really wanted us to cry a lot as kids.
For sure.
But that was just a wonderful movie. I saw, however, that someone was also asking, "What's your least favorite Don Bluth movie?"
Ooh. Least favorite. Rockadoodle. uh, I think that's what it's called. Is it called Rockadoodle? Or
I think so. I know which movie you're talking about.
yeah, that one. I actually had we had the storybook, and I remember that more because I read the storybook before I saw the movie. I think I still have it somewhere. Yeah, but although Troll in Central Park is still pretty bad, but I think Rockadoodle's worse, in my opinion. Purely because like it just suddenly jumps into live action right in the middle. I'm like, oh, okay. Just jumps right into live action. Like, what the heck?
And then
What happened to my cartoon?
and I don't mean to be cruel, but the kid actor didn't always work.
No.
Man, I don't know if I have a least favorite because I haven't seen the complete works. I haven't seen A Troll in Central Park or the full Rockadoodle. I saw enough review videos of it to think that I want to steer clear.
Yeah. Or there's the Pearl and the Penguin.
Again,
That one's actually not that bad. I mean, it's bad, but I think Tim Curry is the saving grace. But yeah, he's the saving grace in everything he's in.
Tim Curry is the saving grace in many a thing.
Yeah.
Heck, I even liked him in the Three Musketeers movie. They're trying to
I
kill
love
the king.
that film. Yeah. It's probably one of my favourite Tim Curry performances.
And then when I saw him in Rocky Horror Picture Show, but I'm delaying. What would be my least favorite? Then I'm gonna go a little weird. Dragon's Lair 2. It's not technically a movie, but it is animated by Bluth, and it's just a sort of wait, what? Through the whole thing. Like, is this your brother? You're in a time machine, but your brother's a wizard. What? What?
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna sound like Little John. What? What?
What? Oh, I forgot about Thumbelina. Voice of Reason mentioned Thumbelina.
How dare you voice?
Good lord, yeah, that is. You haven't seen it.
I confess I have not. I'm so bad at this.
Ah.
Although it sounds like I've mostly avoided the more controversial ones, which, yay? I don't know. Maybe if we ever do another reaction, Mystery Science Theater inspired reaction, we'll watch a bad Don Bluth movie.
Yeah.
Oh, Titan AE. I forgot that was Bluth. That was interesting. It was.
I found it boring.
I found it interesting just for how they depicted a sci-fi universe. It wasn't as they were trying to make it look like an adrenaline rush in the promos, but it wasn't.
Yeah. No, it was dull.
And it wasn't until later that I must not have been paying attention as a kid, because I didn't pick out all the editing and animation errors until much later. I will say that it was hard to get behind the main character, because I really don't enjoy snide, snarky characters.
No. Dragon's Lair apparently is being made into a movie.
Oh, well, I liked the first Dragon's Lair. It's Dragon's Lair 2 that I was like, what?
Yeah.
Also,
I'm not sure, like, for... I think it was rumored that it was going to be an animated movie, but I think there's going to be a live-action one. But it's going to be... oh, gosh, what's his name? My brain.
Well, that might be due to lack of sleep, of which I am guilty of enabling. I'm an enabler here.
Ryan Reynolds, that's his name. Ryan Reynolds is apparently going to star in it.
Okay, one, I really love Ryan Reynolds. I won't hold Green Lantern against him because he gave us Deadpool, and then he killed himself in fiction for trying to be in the Green Lantern movie. Deadpool for the win. But I don't know if Dragon's Lair works because it's animated. It doesn't always work in the transition to real life. I don't even know if Ryan Reynolds can achieve that. I don't know. I will withhold full commentary until I actually see it. But okay, with one final stroke, this one. Boop. Boop.
I like the bent up wing.
I think I can say that this pose is complete.
Awesome sauce.
Now his drawing is complete. If you will not turn to the pony side, then others will. But with this, I think it's time to bid everyone a fond good night, good morning in some places, and we can all
Yeah.
join together in saying, "Go to bed, Maddie."
I was about to go to bed in 5 minutes anyway, so I think this is a good time to call it an evening.
It is.
But
So
yeah, but thank you for inviting me.
thank you for
And
for
you
showing.
could see that Sweetie Bloom was like, urge to mom mode rising. Go to bed, Maddie. I'm going.
Well, thank you everyone for watching, for
Yes.
sharing your thoughts and commentary. Thank you for watching me draw this somewhat embarrassing pose, but I like it.
Yes.
I
Yes.
may try to draw Clutter Step in a similar faux pas. But
Yeah.
above all, thank you, Mad, for your talent, your artwork, and your determination staying up this late.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I hope I did a good job in
You did a wonderful
reading.
job.
I tried. There were so many questions. I didn't get to them all, but
Well,
I tried.
that
So.
is the lament. But we will
Yeah.
see you all again. So, as always, I am Silver-Quill. Thanks for watching.
Bye, guys.